Good morning, children. Today in this class we will discuss about interior of the earth. Here in this topic we will discuss about the following concepts, that is introduction, interior of the earth, rocks, minerals and recapitulation. Let us see about the first one is introduction about the inside the earth.
Introduction. The earth, our homeland, is a dynamic planet. It is constantly undergoing changes inside and outside. All these pictures tell us a secret about the secret components within the earth. The earth is made up of several concentric, intricate layers, just like an onion. Let us know more about the interior of the earth. The earth is a dynamic planet. It constantly undergoes changes. It is made up of several concentric layers. Its three layers are outer shell, crust, middle shell, mantle, and inner shell, core. Interior of the earth. The crust is the outermost layer. The mantle lies between the crust and the core. The core is the innermost and the hottest layer of the earth. The following animation will give a detailed explanation of the concept.
The Earth's interior consists of rocks and metals. It is made up of 5 main layers. The crust is where we live. Next comes the upper mantle or the asthenosphere. Next is the lower mantle, followed by the outer core. And lastly is the inner core. Earth has a diameter of 12,756 km. Let us now learn about the depth of each layer. Starting from the innermost layer, the inner core extends up to 1300 km. The outer core extends up to 3500 km. Mantle including both the lower and the upper mantle extends up to 6400 km. The crust varies from 5 to 50 km in depth.
Let us now know more about these 3 layers of the earth in detail. Crust. It is the outermost and the thinnest layer which covers the mantle. It comprises of 0.5% of the volume of the earth, and it is the hard shell on which we live. The crust is about 35 km on the continental masses and only 5 km on the ocean floors. It comprises of varieties of igneous, metamorphic and sedimentary rocks. Continental crust. It is the layer which forms the continents. It is composed of silica, Si, and aluminium, Al. The continental crust is also known as Oceanic. Let us now know more about these 3 layers of the earth in detail. Crust. It is the outermost and the thinnest layer. Continental crust. It is the layer which forms the continents. It is composed of silica, Si, and aluminium, Al. The continental crust is also known as Oceanic. Oceanic crust. It is the part of the lithosphere which is under the ocean basins. It is composed of silica, Si, and magnesium, Ma. The oceanic crust is also known as Sima. us know the thickness of the continental crust and oceanic crust. Mantle. The characteristics of the mantle are as follows. Second layer, highly viscous, lies between the crust and the outer core. Temperature range between 500 Celsius to 900 Celsius. Thickness 2000 to 900 kilometers. Comprises of 83% of the volume of the Earth. Composed of very hot and dense rocks. Mantle is subdivided into upper mantle and lower mantle. Upper mantle. Upper mantle is thinner than the lower mantle. Upper mantle's thickness is 10 km to 300 km. It is composed of silicates of iron and magnesium. Lower mantle. The characteristics of lower mantle are: thickness is 300 km to 2890 km. It is composed of sulfides and oxides of silicon and magnesium. We can better understand the location of upper and lower mantle with the help of this picture. As hemisphere, it lies at a depth of 60 to 150 miles or 100 to 250 kilometers beneath the surface of the Earth. It is the portion of the upper mantle just below the lithosphere. Come and have a look at the location of as hemisphere through this picture. Core. The major characteristics of the core are as follows. The innermost layer, composed of nickel, Ni, and ferrous, Fe, also known as knife. Radius is 3,500 kilometers. Comprises of 16% of the volume of the Earth. High temperature. High pressure. The core is further subdivided into inner core, which exists in solid form. Outer core, which exists in liquid form. Let's watch this animation for better understanding of the layers of the Earth.
The Earth's radius is about 4,000 miles or 6,400 kilometers. The main layers of its interior are the crust, mantle, and core. The thickness of the crust averages about 50 km under the continent, but is only about 5 km under the ocean. The density of the continental crust is 3 grams per cubic centimeter, whereas the density of the oceanic crust is 2.7 grams per cubic centimeter. The mantle is a highly viscous layer present between the crust and the outer core. The mantle is relatively flexible, so it flows instead of fracturing. It extends down to about 2,900 kilometers below the surface. The density of the mantle is 3.4 grams per cubic centimeter. Core is divided into 2 layers, the inner core and the outer core. The inner core is solid and is about 1,300 kilometers thick. The outer core is about 2,200 kilometers thick and is so hard that the matter is always in the molten state. The fluid contains iron, which on moving generate Earth's magnetic field. The density of the inner core is 13 grams per cubic centimeter, whereas the density of the outer core is 5 grams per cubic centimeter.
Time for us to learn more about the rocks. Any natural mass of mineral matter that makes up the crust of the earth is called rock. Rocks can be hard. There are certain bases for differentiating between rocks. The bases of rock differentiation are color, igneous rocks, dark colored, sedimentary rocks, light colored, size, intrusive igneous rocks, medium grained, extrusive igneous rocks, fine grained, texture, igneous rocks, rough, sedimentary rocks, smooth. Let us know the various steps that lead to the breaking up of rocks. Trees also help with the breaking up of rocks. Look at the process of forming of sediments through this sequence of pictures. Let us now discuss the various types of rocks. There are mainly 3 types of rocks. Igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. We'll learn about them in detail, one by one. Igneous rocks. These are formed by the solidification of the molten material that originated within the earth. Igneous, derived from the Latin word ignis, meaning fire. For example, granite. They are classified on the basis of texture. Texture depends upon the size and arrangement of grains. Igneous rocks can broadly be divided into 1. Intrusive rocks and 2. Extrusive rocks. Let us discuss each of them. Intrusive rocks. The rocks formed by the cooling of molten magma deep inside the crust of the earth. Examples are granite and pegmatite. Extrusive rocks. These rocks are formed by the rapid cooling of molten lava on the surface of the earth. Examples are basalt and obsidian. We will discuss each of them separately. Intrusive rocks. These are formed due to the solidification of magma within the earth. It is coarse-grained. Examples are granite, landform formation, batholith, laccolith, sill, dike. Let us have a look at the locations of batholith, dike, sill, and laccoliths. Extrusive rocks. These are formed at the surface of the earth due to the solidification of magma. It is fine-grained. Examples are basalt, Landform formation, ash cone, lava flows, pyroclastic ash. Let us have a look at the animation on the following slides to understand the process of formation of igneous rocks.
The igneous rocks are formed due to the volcanic eruptions. Different types of rocks are formed because of different speed of cooling of magma. The process of cooling and solidification can happen in the crust or on the surface of the earth. When the magma rapidly cools down and becomes solid, extrusive igneous rocks are formed. For example, ash cone and lava flows. Sometimes the molten magma cools down deep inside the crust of the earth. Solid rocks so formed are called intrusive igneous rocks, that is, sills, dikes, batholids, and batholids. The igneous rocks are formed when the magma cools and solidifies.